Peace and prosperity. This is Asaya Mystic. Hey guys, I know it's been a little minute. I have been on my own little journey. I'm gonna make another video updating you guys on my life, but for the sake of this video, I am going to be talking more about Lilith and the divine feminine in relationship to Lilith and how that all ties in with the evolution of consciousness here on the planet. So I am super happy that my first Lilith video got all the engagement that it got, and so many people were transformed and enlightened by that video. It was really just a channeling, right? So I'm going to give you guys a little bit more of that today. So also I'm going to be answering a lot of you guys' questions that you asked in that video when I get to the end of this video. So Lilith, okay? The story of Lilith in general, when I hear it told, when I read blogs, just the mainstream understanding of Lilith and who she is very whitewashed. I'm saying whitewashed like it's been almost like a comb has been taken through her story, and just everything that makes Lilith and her story what it is, it's almost like it's been taken out. So I want to bring back a lot of what her meaning and her story actually means to the world into awareness. So people know Lilith as the wife that didn't listen, right? She was the wife that didn't listen. She was the first wife of Adam, and she got cast out of the garden because she was disobedient. She didn't want to be a good wife. She didn't want to basically follow under this doctrine of God, like God's doctrine, right? Of what a husband is supposed to be to a woman and what a wife is supposed to be to her husband. She didn't want to follow that. She didn't want to do that. It wasn't really her thing, so she got cast out of the garden. Now, what people don't tell you and what people don't talk about is who Lilith is and where she even came from in the first place. Okay, if Lilith was Adam's first wife and Adam and Eve were like the first people on the planet, then where did Lilith come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was she just popped out of the woodworks? Like, I thought Adam and Eve was the only people, so understanding that Lilith is the spirit, the divine feminine spirit of the earth. Lilith and her energy is representing the primordial energy of the earth, the earth spirit. So when we're talking about earth is ruled by Taurus. Taurus is ruled by the earth is ruled by Taurus. That's how that energy dynamic works in the astrological realm. So when we're living on this planet Earth, Taurus is the sign that rules over this planet. Sensuality, pleasure, physically experiencing life, physically being involved in life, being able to tangibly experience love, physically experience love. This is Taurus's energy. This is the energy of the earth. We come here in physical form and experience life in such a physical way that we are experiencing love. We're experiencing pleasure. We're experiencing luxury. We're experiencing the finer things, foods, delicious, delicious people, delicious people. This experience is a physical, earthly experience that is made for us to experience life in a physical way, okay? So with that being said, this is what Earth represents for us in our experience, in our outer experience. But what people don't talk about also in astrology, okay? We gonna get to astrology because I got a lot of bones to pick with astrology in this westernized, even easternized. It's like so much has been taken out that the truth of where everything comes from, you got to really be enhanced and you got to really be listening to your body and to your senses and to connect the dots, because I have had to connect the dots here with all of this stuff that I have been downloading. And a lot of people come onto my page and watch my videos and they're like, where did you get this from? Like, Asaya, where are you getting this from? And I'm like, I'm not getting it from anywhere. Like, I'm literally learning this. I'm researching this. This is what's coming to me through my senses. So on the flip side of the Taurus energy and the Taurian physical experience of Earth, there is a psychological experience that we all know that we come here experiencing. There is a physical side to the things, the pleasure, the sensuality, the all the physical things, the sex, the love, the babies, the family, the home, the cars, the life. Like, there's a psychological aspect to all of this. Mind you, Taurus is a feminine sign. The Earth is a feminine planet. Keep that in mind because it's important. So understanding that, and then understanding that when we come here, we have a psychological aspect to our experience here. And a lot of us know that this psychological experience can be intense, right? It can be intensely painful, or it can be intensely just powerful. It goes both ways. It's like a fluctuation, right? And the intensities of each fluctuation, of the goodness that we experience internally and the darkness we experience internally, has everything to do with our psyche and how we are aware of our own power, of our own psychology, of our own psychic state. So Lilith is, when I talk about the spirit of the earth, the primal energy of the earth, this is what I'm talking about, okay? And a lot of you guys that understand the energy of Scorpio and the sign of Scorpio know that Scorpio is really kind of very similar to Lilith in a lot of ways, especially Scorpio women, right? Because this is the woman, this is the spirit that has her own mind. She has her own psychological state, right? She has her own knowledge that runs very deep, okay? This knowledge comes from the pits and the depths of time. It runs into the stones of the earth, the most ancient beings on this planet, the crystal beings, the stone beings, the rocks, nature, life, the earth, right? This woman who's in tune with all of these psychic awarenesses of life on earth comes and meets this man created by God. And then this man has the nerve to tell her that she has to be obedient to him and listen to him and follow the ways of this God that he was created by. And she's like, hold up. I wasn't created by your God. Okay, I come from another place. And where I come from, things work a little differently. Okay? Things work a little differently. Whereas the spiritual energy of the divine feminine, the spiritual magnitude of the earth's energy is actually the thing that I am guided by and the thing that I am led by. And this thing has been depicted in the Bible and whatever other stories, most often as the serpent, as the snake, as the devil, as the witch, as the demon, as this evil force, okay? And this evil force, this devil, is actually not exactly the devil that has been depicted in the Bible or in these manipulated manuscripts we call religion that many gods have put their hands on. So I call them celestials, okay? And distorted to get you to see the divine feminine, to get you to see your own connection, spiritual connection to love, to life, and to the earth as evil and something that you should never do. So when I'm talking about Lilith, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the primordial woman, the divine feminine energy of the earth that you will find in all kinds of places and people talking about it in documentaries depicted as, like I said, the serpent. And what is the serpent depicted as? The kundalini energy, awakening your kundalini, awaken into your enlightened self, become enlightened through the energy of your spine and this serpentine like energy that is what we also come here to understand and appreciate in our earthly bodies, because Taurus is opposite to Scorpio and Scorpio is opposite to Taurus. So if we're living on an earth that is ruled by Taurus, physically, externally, this is our experience, then internally we are also having an experience that is depicting our psychological state, that is creating our psychological experiences, that is transforming our life on a day-to-day basis. The power struggles that we experience when we come here. Getting a grip on ourselves psychologically, understanding love and life and death. That's a big part of being here and living here. Understanding life and death. That's a huge part of it. And Lilith gets it. Lilith understands it. Lilith is it. And Lilith is like, say, bruh, like, I'm pretty much an encyclopedia of ancient knowing and understanding of life. And you over here trying to tell me that I gotta be your submissive wife that just listen to everything you say? No. You can tell I'm like relating a little bit to my story that I'm telling here. Hi, Eileen. How are you? Thanks for joining the New Earth Feminine group. We are going to be starting the 7 Commandments of Love 7-day challenge. What? Oh my gosh, in less than a week. It's going to be on February 21st. It's coming up really fast. So thank you so much for joining that. To anyone else that's interested in joining, the link is in my description. I need some drink some water. Oh my gosh. You can see the water like going down my throat. Creepy. So this is the source of Lilith. And this is also the source of and the glimpse into understanding that those who are created by God in the Bible and those who are created by the earth, two different energies spiritually, two different frequencies spiritually, two different souls, okay? Two different missions. So Lilith has a mission. Okay, so I'm sorry guys, I'm going to the previous video because I'm about to start looking at these questions. But Lilith is related to the primordial beings of the earth. Woo! What is she talking about? Yes. I do not believe that everybody on this planet is a human being. I believe that everybody is of their own creed, is of their own descendancy. Basically, everyone has their own soul bloodline. Put it like that. They have their own spiritual bloodline. I don't believe that everybody is the same. And I think in this age of Aquarius, we're really going to start to understand this and appreciate this, because what is also being forced onto the people collectively is this ideal that we're all the same. And it's coming from a place of wanting to get away from racism, get away from prejudice of any kind. But that, I feel like, is just making it worse, because in order for people to not be prejudiced and not be racist and not have all of these insecurities that they project onto people, they need to have a sense of pride. They need to have a sense of who they are, their source, where they come from. Duh. Leo energy, that's always going to be what balances out Aquarian energy. Whenever you have all of these, inequalities and unfairness going on in the collective humanity, we got to go back to Leo, okay? We got to look at Leo. What's going on with Leo? What's going on with source? Do people understand themselves? Are people in tune with themselves? Are they aware of themselves? Questions. I got questions, right? So we got to get back into understanding who we are and where we come from and not being ashamed of that. Oh, okay. You're a Leo. I love Leos. I really do. So, yeah, we got to have a sense of pride. We got to have a sense of pride in ourselves, where we come from, spiritually and physically. Okay, so I'm gonna get to the questions in a little bit, but we have to have that in order for all of these prejudices that we're really afraid of. This is why this is being projected onto this everybody's the same, because we're afraid of the same thing happening over again, right? We're afraid of this, racial whatever that's going on. We're afraid of all of this stuff coming up again. And to me, I'm like, look, this ain't 1960. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother had to go through the systematic oppression and can't go to certain schools, can't go to certain movie theaters, can't experience life at a certain level, right? I don't have to experience that. My daughter is sleeping behind me. Okay. All right, we're good. She's still sleeping. When she's sleeping, it's like the best time for me to record because she's getting older and she'd be like, wow! all in the camera. Longfellow says, I'm an Aquarius. Yeah, my daughter's an Aquarius too. And she be like, I can't change her. Like the way she is, the way she communicate, and I can't change that. That's just what it is. But she be doing what toddlers do. So I'm lowering my voice a little bit. And your question might be, well, why don't you go in another room? Well, when I go in another room, she can sense that I'm not in the room. So then she want to get up from her nap and be like, Mama, you're not in the room. So I got to stay in the room so she could stay asleep. But then, got to work with my voice so I don't wake her up. But, all right. So, yeah, that fear that people have around like honing in and just really getting clear about who we are genetically and where we come from genetically. Oh, they putting in a lot of work for that. They putting in a lot of work from that. Ancestry.com, all of these places where you can look up your ancestry and they doing everything in their power to promote race, all while telling everybody that they're all human. Now, let me tell you, because you're probably still at a place where you're like, well, how does that not make sense? Let me tell you how it doesn't make sense, okay? If we are all human and we're all the same, why does it matter? Why does race matter? Why is there even a reason to go back to race, to go back to these different places and it's because we're not all the same. It's because we're not all human. That's just what it is. That's confusing. They're trying to confuse you by thinking that it makes sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so we're not all the same, all right? And I do not believe in races, okay? I don't believe in races because that's superficial. Races are superficial because it has a cutoff. Your race has a cutoff and it cuts off to your flesh, what you look like, your skin color, your phenotype, your nose, your lips, whatever. It's superficial. So I don't deal with race. What I deal with is bloodline. What I deal with is celestial, primordial, spiritual lineage. This is what I deal with. This is what I work with. All right. And this is what ultimately makes the most sense because when you cut things off to I think she's about to wake up, y'all. Oh no, I'm good. Okay. So when you cut things off to oh my gosh, not race, but when you cut it off, when you have a cutoff, when you're not able to go into that spiritual place as to where you're from, you're stuck here. You're stuck. You're stuck in their matrix, because this is what these people thrive off of, all right? They thrive off of the fact that you think you are the only I'm sorry, I was about to insult you guys, but you think you're the only person on the planet, right? You think you're the only person in the universe, and you just oh, I wonder what's out there. I wonder who else lives out there. I wonder what else exists. I guess it doesn't really matter. I guess we the only ones. I wonder, and all of this feeds into the reason why people are so scared of death, why people are so scared of the unknown, why people are so scared of taboo things and things that go beyond that surface. And that's exactly why they created religion, to make you scared of that shit. Because once you start to go past that veil, that's when you meet Lilith. That's when Lilith be like, you finally left from over there and came into the serpent's den. You finally came to talk to the serpent, right? They don't want you to talk to the serpent. They don't want you to go past that veil, because when you do, you can't go back. When you do, you become enlightened. When you are enlightened, you become aware, you become conscious. You can begin to exercise your powers as a person living in a physical body on this earth. So, okay. Longfellow says, I've always felt a strong connection from Orion, and I've always felt Earth is not my origin, just visiting. See, we have siblings, like they're people from all over, you know what I'm saying, the galaxy. And some people are just visiting. Like, some people are just visiting, and some people, they are literally from Earth. They're primordial to this terra, specific terra, right? Because there are many terras, there are many Earths, and we're living here. We're living here. So not everybody's from here. Some people are from here, and I think it's very empowering to start recognizing that and honoring that. Some people be like, well, nobody's from Earth. We're all just visiting. And I'd be like, no, you're just visiting. Don't include me in that situation. Eileen says, I don't really feel connected to this earth. I never really did. Longfellow, me and you are very similar. Leo and Aquarius connect, opposites on the zodiac. Right. So, I mean, when you feel that way, listen to that feeling and go where you're being guided, right? Now it's time for you to start asking questions. Now it's time for you to start connecting to your guides, to your spiritual guides, and to start asking questions, because they'll tell you, all right? The answers, they're already here. They're already prevalent. So all you got to do is ask, okay? So yeah, this is why I don't like race, talking about race, humanity, in the context of race, because it's retarded. Like, it's dumbfounded. It has no depth, and it doesn't allow for the deeper psychic senses to be activated. So Lilith was and is the spirit of the earth. She represented the spirit of the earth and the people, the indigenous energy and people that were here before God came here. So let's talk about God real quick. Y'all need to start paying attention to these movies. And I'm not talking about the drama movies, okay? Not the drama movies, not the ghetto hood movies that were literally created just so you could create more of that into your life. You know what I'm talking about? You know, some of y'all be watching ghetto hood flicks and dramalicious, who, you know, cheated on who and who slapped who. Like, y'all watch stuff that is just, it's literally like keeping you in this just state of retardation. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I'm talking about movies that expand you. I'm talking about stuff that kids like to watch. You know what kids like to watch, like young children who haven't been influenced by, you know, all the other stuff. There'd be a lot of truth in children's movies. There'd be a lot of truth in sci-fi expanded, you know, movies where things that you wouldn't think could happen in your real life, you know, daily living is actually happening. Pay attention to these movies. Oh my gosh, especially the Marvel movies. Oh my gosh. The Marvel movies, they just tell everything. They just tell everything, you know. Pay attention to these movies, because I think I was watching, what movie was it? It was Guardians of the Galaxy. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was the second one. And this was the one where the main character found out that his father was a celestial and his mother was from Terra, was from Earth. And his energy was different. He had a different physiology, literally, because his father was a celestial. Now, that right there, I was like, they just telling it all in the movie. And y'all over here thinking that this is a sci-fi, but they literally just telling you, they're just telling you what it is. These gods, or where these religious doctrines come from, stem from celestials, such as the one that was mentioned in that movie, and specifically celestial outcasts. Outcasts meaning they were outcasts, like, woohoo, you know, they, wherever they was from, they didn't belong there, so they had to go, right? So they decided to come to Earth. And this is where a lot of these religious doctrines are coming from. And a lot of the religious doctrines want humanoids, they want humans, human beings, to give them their energy spiritually. So they come up with all of these rituals and practices and belief systems for you to have, so that you can give your energy to them. Literally. Okay? It's like light. You're giving them your energy. So this is why literally these religions were created, so that the celestial gods, these celestial deities, can have power in this realm, because naturally you don't really have too much power here if you're not connected to the spirit of the earth, which is Lilith, right? Lilith is all about power. Why do you think she's all about power? Because she was the disobedient wife of Adam and she wanted to do her own thing. Yeah, the feminist movement is trying really hard to put their little spin on Lilith, but it's a lot deeper and profound than that, than just, oh, I just didn't want to be his husband. So no, this is a literal power source that is emanating from the earth. And this is why people who become fully connected to her spirit, it's like a rite of passage. You're connected. You automatically are healthier than most people. You're automatically freer than most people. You're automatically more enlightened than most people. You automatically, your skin just glowing more than other people. You know, people who are connected to the earth, to her spirit, they have a magic about them. But not everybody is able to do that, right? Because not everybody has the soul for it. Gotta have the soul for it. So this is Lilith. This is where Lilith is coming from, you know? And this is a much more, I think, practical and I don't know what to say about it than the other video. But yeah, this is Lilith's energy. So I'm just gonna scroll through these comments. There's actually, you know what? I probably should have did this beforehand because there's 125 comments. So I don't know how I'm gonna do this. What would be the fair way? Top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay, I guess. Oh wait, it ain't that much. Okay, I just scroll to the bottom that fast. All right. So some people on here, they had comments. So some people came on there talking about I am Ronin. I am the servant of the source. Some of y'all be crazy. But I love y'all. I love y'all. Okay, so I'm looking for comments. I mean, not comments, questions. So questions. It's okay. So somebody said it's interesting the explanation I gave on Lilith, but where did I get this information from? Not saying you're making it up, but it looks like you make too many pauses. Plus, I never heard this version. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, if you're new to watching me, I am a very pensive person. So when I talk, you can tell that I'm very pensive in my mind. Because I always say, if somebody talks stupid, then that means they think stupid. Like how you talk is how you think. So I'm pausing when I talk because I'm literally thinking about what I'm saying. Like there's thoughts coming to me and I'm picking up on them. Like multiple thoughts at one time. It's not just one thought. And I like literally it's like picture just messages flowing in to someone's brain and you're like receiving them all, but you're talking and you're choosing which ones that you want to say. So that's why I make my pauses because I'd be like, ooh, I just heard something else that I think I might want to say. Should I say that? Think I might want to say that. Earlier in the video, I mentioned, you know, how I channel this information. Okay, I'm a channeler. I channel information and I also am a researcher naturally. I'm a natural researcher. I just pick up on energy. I pick up on messages and I just share them easily. Maja Alal sending love from Algeria. Woohoo! What's up, Algeria? What's up, Algeria? I love that there's people literally from all over the world in this, like, in my YouTube community. Instagram, I kind of like is more concentrated. I know more of those people are like in America. I think. I don't know. At least that's what I know. That is a great way of communicating. You are getting downloads. Yes. 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 It is a great way of communicating. And actually, now just thinking about it, it makes me want to look at my chart to see what my third house, what my third house's sign is in. Because the third house is about communicating. I know what my Mercury and stuff is in, but I'm gonna look at my third house, see what sign that's in. So, yeah, okay, I'll move on. All right. Okay. Still looking for questions. All right, somebody S says, how do we unlock that power for newbies? Okay, you're talking about the power of Lilith. I feel like I kind of explained that in this video. But to be more specific, how you unlock the power of Lilith, you definitely, there's a collective way, right, to unlock it, which is what I explained. How Lilith is the spirit of the earth. She represents the sentinel, the serpent, and that is the spirit of the earth. This serpent is a wise spirit, and to tap into that power, you have to be willing to go through transformations. You have to be willing to go through the darkness and come out into the light. You have to be willing to embrace negativity. And I did a video on that with a friend of mine, the sensuality and business coach. That's in one of my other videos, so you guys can check it out. But yeah, you have to be willing and you have to surrender to transformation. You have to surrender to your psychic senses. If you want to be feeling like you know everything, and you want to be feeling like, you know, if you want to act like Adam up in here and Eve, you want to act like them two who was scared for, well, no, Adam was a know-it-all, Eve was scary. Okay, Adam was the know-it-all. Well, God told me not to eat the apple, Eve. God told me not to eat the placenta, Lilith. God told me to stay away from this evilness. Adam was like, not about that life. Adam was a know-it-all, and he was, you know, that's how a lot of people get to acting when they're really afraid and insecure of experiencing themselves. It's an intimacy, right? And this is why I said Lilith really is just some symbolic of a different, is a personified version of Scorpio. But she's like Scorpio and Taurus combined. It's interesting, Lilith. But she's like a personified version, and to unlock that power, basically, yeah, you have to be willing to surrender and undergo your transformation, and also surrender to what you know, your power, right? Your truth. So, okay, somebody else asked, where did this story come from? That story came from, okay, so y'all, this is some repetitive questions, but yeah, the story came from literally my own spirit, my own energy felt called to speak about Lilith and the truth of what I knew about her and her energy. I didn't read the story somewhere. All I do literally is I do research. I listen to people, various sources. I don't just be attached to one person, because some of y'all be attached to one literal source, and all of them be like, maybe that one source is just so similar to all the other sources you listen to. It's like, I don't do that. That's limiting for me. I listen to all kinds of people talk. Based off of how it makes me feel, you know, and what messages I receive from it, I have my own resonance, right, with the story. So then I meditate on it, which is really just me sleeping on it, and thinking about it and ruminating and rolling around in it. And then I come to a conclusion. And then I speak my piece. And however it comes out, it's just my creative energy. It's just my own creativeness, and creative flow being put onto it. So you guys, like, I'm not making up stories. I'm being my creative self while channeling from the research and the intuitive guidance that I'm being given. So, Eileen says, do you give offerings to Lilith? So I do not give offerings to any personified deity. I just don't. I do have altars, and I do create altars, and when I create the altars, I give offerings to my loved ones and to my ancestors and to myself. Really, if I don't have an emotional connection and reverence, like personal reverence, so I guess you could say the idea of Lilith and the story of Lilith, I'm disconnected from, like, I'm detached from that. Oh, I need to drink some water, yeah. Oh my gosh. I need to drink some more water. Oh, it's so pretty outside. I need to go outside. So yeah, I'm detached from Lilith and who she is, like, personified. But when I am emotionally attached to the spirit of the earth, I'm definitely giving offerings to the earth daily, into my own connection to her. So that's how I connect, not really to the story and the name of Lilith, but that energy, because these names and a lot of these deities, if I don't have a personal relationship, or I didn't, come to the conclusion myself, I don't all the way resonate with it or trust it. So that's how I work in my spiritual practices. Okay. Somebody asked, how do you embody Lilith? Good question. How do you embody Lilith? So I talked about how you can get in touch with your power, but how do you embody Lilith? So this looks like a woman who asked this question. So in relationship to being a woman and embodying Lilith, the best way to do that is to definitely look up what your Lilith is in, like your actual Lilith placement in your chart, and then learn about it, see if it resonates, see what you pick up from that. And outside of that, embodying Lilith as a woman definitely means that you are taking your power back. So in whatever areas you feel called to do this, which is why I said look at your placement in Lilith, what sign it's in, what house is it in, that'll give you a good idea. Because me personally, my Lilith is in Cancer in the 3rd house. So I'm taking back my power around the divine feminine, around my womb, around my creative abilities, around my connection to my ancestors and what that looks like. And this is all going to be in through communicating and teaching and learning. So I'm embodying Lilith and my power and my true sense of connection to the earth through just by knowing my Lilith placement and applying it to my life and understanding it. So that's a good way to embody Lilith as a woman, right? You know her story. You know that she left her husband. And that's so symbolic though, because this kind of a woman's space, because she is activating an energy that doesn't approve of his master, that doesn't approve of his, what he's basically living by and connected to. Now, you guys understand that everything that I'm saying, I fully believe also in saying all of this, that religion can lead people into their connection to their spirit and to the spirit of this realm, right? But it's when you just stay there and you get stuck in the doctrine and the morality of it all that you're cut off. So definitely look up and find out what your Lilith placement is in. I might actually do a video on that. I'm not sure. I might do it in the YouTube. I might do it on YouTube, or I might do it in my upcoming program, Activating the Goddess Frequency, that is starting in the spring. So if you're interested in that, make sure you book a Lightning Self-Love coaching call so we can talk about, what's going on in your energy in regards to divine feminine, embracing the divine feminine, whatever resistance you may be having in your relationships, and in you embracing your psychic gifts and getting rid of all of that resistance. Okay? Just get rid of it. So, yeah, those spots are actually filling up very fast, and they're going to be filling up even faster once the 7 Commandments of Love challenge starts, which is on the 21st. And if you haven't signed up for that, make sure you click the link in my description, because once that gets started, my time slots are going to be filling up like hotcakes. So make sure you book your call while you still have time. Not while you still have time, but so you can get your ideal yeah, while you still have time, but so you can get your ideal time slot in with me. All right, so I'm looking at more of these questions. Hello, my Lilith is in Aries like my sun. Okay, so your Lilith is in Aries. Lilith in Aries is going to be all around the self, right? Who you are, you're basically your, not necessarily self-worth, but your self appearance, who you are, what you look like, what you appear as, kind of like your image, and not in a earthy sense like Taurus, but in a who am I? Who am I? Who are you? I am who? I am who? And is this person that you are being, is it empowering you? Is it are you bringing power back into your life, back into yourself through this person that you are, and your sense of self? My Lilith in my sun sign Scorpio as well. So Lilith in Scorpio it's gonna have a lot to do with being empowered through your sexuality. And you're probably also going to attract a lot of people who want to take your power from you in that way. So Lilith in Scorpio is very interesting and powerful placement. All right, I'm about to answer these questions, y'all. What other questions are there? Okay, so as we have been blinded by the truth behind our whole being, as was the backstory, I asked about that symbolism. If they are teaching of the serpent to be evil, why do they use that as a medical symbolism? Oh my gosh, great question. This ties back into when I was talking about the kundalini, y'all. Okay, and the kundalini in relationship to the serpent, and the serpent in relationship to Lilith. Okay, Lilith. Oh, I just thought of something. See, look, I did that thing where I paused because look, I just thought of something. I was about to say that, but hold that thought, Asaya. Come back to it. I'm gonna come back to it. Okay. They use the medical symbol. They use the serpent as the medical symbol because they know. Because they know. They know. They know. They know. Oh, I like that song. They know. I'm a Drake fan. I don't know Drake personally, but I do like some of his songs. Anyway, so yeah, they know why they're using the medical symbol as the serpent. And this is that exact reason, because being connected to this energy, to this spiritual energy of the earth is healing. It's healing. It will heal you. I said, when you're connected to the earth, your skin look better, your hair look better, everything about you is just better. Why? Because your body is evolving it's literally rejuvenating its cells at a faster rate than someone who's not in tune. That's someone that's not connected. Okay, looking all old and decrepit by the time you hit, I don't even know what age, but it's like, no, you can look young literally for a very long time. Probably not, not young like the same forever. You wouldn't look the same forever, but you can look good forever. You can be healed forever. And this is what they know about this energy. And something that Sade Crane, when you mentioned your Lilith being in Scorpio, that made me also think about how, because I just said you probably attract people to you who want to take away your power from you in regards to your sexuality. And this is something that I have been mentioning recently on my Instagram page. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me, because I be posting some interesting stuff on there that you might be interested in. Maybe not. You might dislike me and never watch me again. Who knows? But go check it out. Just, follow me on Instagram. But this made me think about how women and at this, like, I'm just been seeing a lot lately how it's literally like women are fighting for the rights to a power that is theirs by birth. Like, it's their birthright to have this power, right? And what power is that? The power that they have, just like Lilith in Cancer, the power over their wombs, right? But also a power over their sexuality and what they decide to do with their sexuality, what they decide to create with their sexuality. And I'm definitely not an advocate for you being an abuser of your power and, feeling like you can do whatever you want and, massacre people. And, of course, I'm not an advocate for that. But I am an advocate and definitely receiving a lot of messages around women getting back into their sexual power. And their sexual power is so important. Sexual power is so important. And this is the reason why I believe that the way into the womb of the woman, when beings that were foreign to this planet and beings of war, beings of massacre, beings that are not of this earth decided to come here, before they could start doing anything and really marking and making their way and marking their territory, it's like they had to penetrate through something first. And I believe that a lot of what they have been able to do has been done because they've been or decided to rape women and literally take away their sexual power, and not just women, you know, men too. You know, it's like this forcefully taking, I'm going to take away your power. You know, a lot of people don't think this applies to men, but it applies to men and women. When somebody decides to forcefully put themselves onto you, and it's like they know what that does. They know what that does on a physical level and on an energetic level. You're taking away someone's sexual energy, their precious creative energy. You're telling them you can't create anymore. You can't create. You're not worthy of creating anything. Everything that is you and comes from you might as well just not exist, because I'm going to take it all away from you. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what happened here. And that's why the veil, or I would say the matrix, was able to expand in such a way that it did. I love that you say that, because men were raped in record numbers, especially during enslaved times, to emasculate us. No, I'm definitely not going to leave you out, because I know that a lot of you guys went through that just in an attempt to protect your women, just in an attempt to protect the woman from that happening to the women, you know? So of course I'm not going to leave y'all out, because a lot of y'all took that blow because you wanted to protect your families, because you felt like you can get over it, you know, whereas she wouldn't. It wouldn't be as easy for her. So definitely never gonna forget about what the sacred masculine does on a daily basis. This doesn't happen on a daily basis. But anyway, I don't want to make this video about, you know, too much about that. If you guys are interested in hearing more about this topic specifically, I have a live video that I'm doing with a guest on my Instagram, specifically around sexuality and spirituality and healing and evolving the masculine and feminine energies within within people right now. So you can tune in to that live video if you want to learn more about that topic, right? I don't want to talk too much about this right today, because it's kind of, it can stir me a little bit emotionally to talk about it. It makes my throat dry. I need some water. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that's what that made me think of. All right. So I brought that up. Okay. Brought that up for a reason. Bear with me. So now that we understand how the veil was pierced, how the Earth Mother was pierced, okay, we can also understand how she heals. and how quickly she can heal, how quickly she can heal you, your body, your psyche, this, the earth and Lilith, the spirit of Lilith, this serpent spirit. The kundalini, basically the serpents representing the medical symbol. A lot of people are like, oh, that's the kundalini, it's representing the kundalini. So, but like I was just explaining, like, it is actually representing the spirit of the earth and this divine feminine energy that has the ability to heal you instantly. Like, it doesn't take years, decades, she has the ability to change your entire world and life instantly. And you can activate this energy by activating your DNA through her. So a lot of people teach you how to do this through different ways of connecting to the earth, breath work, fasting, different foods, different herbs, things like that. This is something that I'm getting into more deeply in my 6-month program, Activating the Goddess Frequency, starting in the spring. So again, if you're interested in joining my container for that, make sure you book a Lightning Self-Love coaching call, and we will go through what it is that you want to work through, where's any resistance, and we will see what, basically if I can help you get to where you're trying to go or not, or if this is really like the program for you. So that is basically why the kundalini and the serpent symbol is used in the medical system, because it's representing this same feminine body that can heal you if you allow it. And they use it, because this is the energy that they want to evoke in their systems. However, by the practices they are using, and by them being so detached from the spirit of the earth and the energy of the earth, it distorts people's concept of healing and of what it means to be healthy. And so that's why you have a whole bunch of people walking around not knowing how to be healthy, not knowing how to listen to their body and understand what their body's telling them, and not knowing just how to be genuinely in a good state of health. This is why, okay? Because they're using a symbol that, and then having practices that it's not in full alignment with its original blueprint, right? So the serpent also represents going into the depths and removing toxicities, right? Healing. The venom from a snake can heal you in small doses from things. So what it's done is they've turned it into this really like representation of using knives and needles to cut into you physically, to change you physically, when that is like a last resort. That's something that should be a last resort. And there are plenty of surgical practices and procedures that are in much more alignment. They're much more aligned with the Earth's natural frequency, because it doesn't involve all of these tools. It's just unnecessary, right? Westernized things. I've done research and found, videos of shamans in Brazil and people all over the world doing surgery with their bare hands, and they're not even cutting nobody open. Like they're tapping into the biomagnetic field of your body, and they're literally, a man pulled a tumor out of this woman's breast. He didn't use no knife, he didn't use none of that, and he just whoops, he just took the tumor out. She ain't have no scar either. She ain't even feel it. She was asleep. She was in a trance the whole time because he did a ancient shamanic practice that put her into such a meditative state. He was able to perform this surgery on her, right? And then on top of that, he didn't have to use no knives. He didn't have to cut into her. He didn't have to do any of that. He just reached into her body and took out the tumor. And then, the boom, bada bing, bada boom, it was done. And then she had some herbal protocol after that. This is the aligned healing that I'm talking about. People have been programmed to believe that the superficial way of being healed in the medical system is just the best way ever and the only way to go. And it's like, no, much of these ways are founded on ideologies and science that is disconnected from this same energy that I'm doing a whole video about, right? This Lilith serpent energy. So this is that kundalini energy that once you start to understand that this ain't the way, right? This is your enlightenment. This is you rising. This is you coming up in your spine and erecting in your status. Keisha says, how are you? Is this similar to hypno babies? It's like the mother gets hypnotized by the doula or partner to have the birthing process happen more naturally in water too. I'm pretty sure it's very similar, and speaking of childbirth is actually supposed to be an orgasmic experience. When you have a baby, that's supposed to be the biggest orgasm of your life. But because God said that because you ate that apple and you talked to that serpent Eve, I'm going to curse every woman. I'm going to curse every woman to have a horrible birthing experience. Horrible. Painful. Oh my goodness. That's not natural, actually. The birthing experience is a surrendering. And it's supposed to feel good. Right? Now, me personally, with my own daughter, I did not experience that. Okay? That's another story. Okay? I have a whole story for that. But I've literally had a friend. She had I think she got like 5 or 6 or maybe 7 kids now. When I knew her in high school, I think she just had 2 or 3. Okay? And she told me she loves when the baby coming out. Like she said, that is the biggest orgasm she has ever had in her life. She was like, I love having babies. It feels good. You know what I'm saying? And she was just your regular, New Orleanian fellow Black girl like myself. Somebody tried to interrupt me. I had to put my hand up. Not today. Satan. But yeah, this is definitely the norm. This is the norm. She was just a regular girl, and she was able to, and she was a little bit older than me. Yeah, we was in high school. She was like 21, but we were seniors. We were about to graduate. I was like 16, 17. And she was like, I love having babies. That shit felt good. I was like, oh, okay. I had never had one before, but you make it sound fun. So, you know, this is the this is the dichotomy. Like, this is the energy field that everybody should be enlightened to. But it involves having a connection, right? And a knowledge and an enlightenment. So let's move on to another question. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Oh, okay. Do-do-do-do. Okay. So I feel okay, sorry for the long pause, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure I get the question. And I probably should have went through this, but whatever. Somebody said, I used to be affiliated with the Hebrew Israelites, and they all said Lilith was evil. Thank you so much for the clarification. Yeah, and this is why I had to mention religion with this, because most people who are so indoctrinated with their moralities will hold these understandings, especially when it comes to, men too, men as well. Let me see. What would you say the theme of this year will be? The theme of this year is a theme of truth, at least for me. Moving in power and truth. I have a strong desire to speak my truth and speak the truth, right? So there's my truth and then there's the truth, because it saddens me to see people ignorant and easily manipulated by systems and beings that are not in resonance and alignment with the earth, that are actually trying to destroy her because of what I'm talking to you about right now, Lilith, right? This divine feminine energy. It's not just, oh, I'm not just talking to y'all about this feminine. No, this is literally a huge part of the evolution of consciousness and awareness in reality, our reality. It's a huge part of it. So now is the time. Now is the time. And if you don't know now, then you just don't want to know. You just don't want to hear it. But now is definitely the time to get in tune with these truths and walk in them. Live by them, be them. So that's what I feel like the theme of this year is. And if you have a truth, if you have something to say, now is the time to say it. Now is the time to be it. Now is the time to live it. Stop worrying about what the world or what other people and no. I deprogram all of this stuff in my program. Okay, activating the goddess frequency. I'm giving you the codes, but I'm deprogramming you too, because there's so many programs. There's so many things that we've downloaded just from our parents, our generations, just from going to school and just from living attached with any influence of the matrix, There's so much that we've programmed that makes us create certain paradigms, right? But we can create a new one. We can create new things. We don't need any of what they tell us that we need. We don't. All we need is each other. All we need is ourselves. All we need is the connection. Okay, so I was scrolling while I said that. All right, so I'm trying to find one comment that I remember. Okay, so I remember someone asking on this video that they really, really loved Lilith and they loved the energy and everything. But they wanted to learn how she related to the masculine. Like how activating her energy related to the masculine. And I think this is going to be the last question that I answer because the sun's getting real low. That's from, that's what they tell a Hulk when he's done smashing everything. Sun's getting real low, big guy. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like the sun is getting low. So it's going to be like, this is going to be my last question I'm going to answer. And I got to shift my legs because I like to sit in like poses that encourage circulation in my body. All right. So I'm going to drink some water. Ooh, I'm goopy, y'all. If y'all hadn't noticed. I had to do a little swish swish. Okay, so how Lilith relates to the divine masculine and how, as a divine masculine, you can activate your Lilith energy. Y'all ready for this one? Okay, so, oh my gosh. Smell some of my sage. Calm my nerves. All right, so I think this is a big part of why the previous video was so engaging, because a lot of women experience their oppression in relationship to women. Either it's a woman who is against activating Lilith, or it's a man who is against activating Lilith. And what is this activation? Like everything I was explaining, the activation of your higher senses, the activation of your higher self, and coming in tune with your powers, your literal psychic powers here on this planet. And so the way that people are doing this and how this relates to the masculine is it's coming through as a suppression of the senses, a suppression of truth, a suppression of who we are as souls and spirits. But as women, we're directly experiencing this suppression and energy systematically through, media and what we're digesting, through programming in the systems, whether it be medical, institutional, work system. We are experiencing this oppression in our relationships with our girlfriends and our men, right? And it can come through jealousy, your girlfriends having, jealousy of you wanting to go your own way and do your own thing and thrive in that and be powerful and not do what most women would do, which is be the rib, be the helpmate, be subordinate, docile, meek, and when you decide to be your own person and have your own senses, that's a problem, and you start to feel that jealous energy, it can play out in relationship to the feminine. And with the masculine, though, this is where most people, this is why most women leave men. Just being honest, this is why most women leave you, or move on, or go their own way, because men also have been programmed to believe that women are supposed to be a certain way, just like women believe themselves to have to be a certain way, but men also believe a woman is supposed to be a certain way. I'm a male, and as an Aquarius masculine, that's imperative for me. I think she's getting it. Oh gosh. Okay. Hi. Are you going back to sleep? No, she's up now. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up this explanation. Come here. Ooh. Come here. Okay, so how the masculine relates to this Lilith energy is, and what did I just say before this? I said this is why most women leave their men. But it's true. This is why most women leave their men, because they feel like their man wants to mold them, or they feel like their man wants them to be Eve, the rib. It's like, no, I'm not the rib. I'm actually the flower. I'm actually the fruition. I'm actually the nectar, okay, of this whole shebang. And how the masculine can tap into this Lilith energy is they're gonna have to start getting comfortable with understanding their role in relationship to a woman's flowering and a woman's nectaring, her production of nectar. It has a lot to do really also with understanding how to please a woman physically. So like, just like how I was talking about how the earth relates to this Lilith energy, if you know how to get a woman to orgasm, I don't really need to have this conversation with you. But majority of the women, at least in America, don't orgasm, like, ever. It just like never happens. And that's because most men aren't tapping into this Lilith energy to be able to understand how a woman produces nectar and she sustains that production of nectar. Kind of like how you have a fertile land, and if you don't treat the land a certain way, if you don't tend to the land a certain way, like, the land's not gonna bear you any fruit. The land's not gonna give you anything from that, like, because you think that the land is there for you to manipulate and bear crop, like produce crops for so that you can make a certain quota, or make a certain amount. It's very not, it's not connected, right? People who have wild gardens, people who tend to wild gardens and grow their food in natural, wild, sustainable ways, they have a different mindset than basic agriculture. The basic agriculture system that uses pesticides, insecticides, mass production of this genetically modified stuff. And even in them selling that to people and feeding people with that is making them sick. So you see how, is it, you're making sense to you? You see how it's connected? So this is the masculine's role in all of this. And the masculine can sometimes feel like, well, where do I play into all of this? Where do I play into it? What can I do to make, to make your life better? Whatever. So first you have to understand your connection to life first. Understand your connection to life first. Then start to worry about how you can make somebody's life better, or where you play into life and what you can do for life. Are you connected to life? That's my question. So when the masculine is connected to life and is connected to the spirit of the earth, it's a magnetism that you'll have about you that all of a sudden will attract, I would say attract the right woman, attract the right woman, attract the right experiences, you become aligned, right? Because a lot of men today feel like the success that they have and the things that they have and the status that they have is like this success. But in my eyes, it's a false paradigm of success, because if what you've done to accumulate your success involves you giving energy to beings that are not in alignment with the earth, like, pedophiles and politics, and if your success is predicated on some false paradigm and it's not in sync with your soul and your heart space, then that's not really success. You're not really, you're not really changing anything or helping anybody, or at the peak level helping a woman, right? Superficially, she might feel like she's being helped because, like, financially she's being sustained, and she has what she needs on a physical level, which is great. I'm all about being abundant and having what you want, what you need physically. However, what paradigms are you giving energy to, and are they sustainable? So the masculine can tap into and embody Lilith by that, just like that, by being connected to true paradigms of living on this earth, true paradigms of relating and being connected to this earth. We don't want to be disconnected anymore. I don't want to eat GMO corn and stuff anymore. I just don't. I don't want that to be what is the norm for my people and the people that live on this planet. I want the systems in place and the institutions in place to be in divine alignment and in harmony with the earth. And so that is really how the masculine That's the masculine's role in activating his own Lilith energy, because in you doing that, that's a type of rebellion. It's a type of you're taking back some of your power. You're taking back I wouldn't say some of it. You're taking back your power. You're rebelling. You're saying, no, this isn't the aligned way. This isn't the true way. This isn't the sacred masculine. You know, this isn't what the sacred masculine would do. So that's how the masculine that's the role the masculine plays when it comes to embodying Lilith's energy, is just 100% treating the earth and her energy as sacred and embodying that into the systems and the businesses and the endeavors and the things that he externally embarks on. Reflects, right? Has to reflect that. So I think that was my last question. And look at the comments. The grass is greener where you water it. I feel that. Yeah, grass is greener where you water it. Y'all, I have some interesting ears. I've been trying to figure out what hairstyle will work best with these ears. Because when I do it like this, oh, calm down. When I do it like this, oh, sorry. Got my hair in her face. I feel like Dumbo. It almost feels like you're talking about Ma'at. Well, Ma'at is just talking about the energy of Venus. And Venus is just talking about the energy of love. And love is I would say a co-creator of this earth, right? The planet Venus, which is not really Venus, but the planet Ma'at, the energy of Ma'at is the energy that co-created this realm, which is love. And we come here to experience love ultimately through the earth, right? The earth, our earthly senses, and through our psyche. So this is where the not Venus, Scorpio and Taurus comes into play, and then the planet, which is one of the literally like the brightest star in the planet. I mean, in the brightest star in the sky, right? The morning and evening star, which is the energy of Venus. Olivia. So yeah, that's why it sounds like I'm talking about because I am. All right, guys. Well, I feel like I've said a lot today. Anybody have any other questions before I end this thing? Okay, well, if nobody has any other questions or anything else to say, remember, make sure you book your Lightning Self-Love coaching call if you're interested in joining my container starting in the spring, activating the goddess frequency. And if you're interested in the 7 Commandments of Love 7-day challenge, which is starting on the 21st, the link to that is also in the description. And if you're interested in getting a reading from me, I'm doing one-on-one readings currently for a limited time. I don't think I'm going to be doing them starting in the spring. So if you're interested in getting a reading, also make sure you message me, follow me on Instagram, send me a message, and yeah. Yeah. All right, well, you guys have a beautiful night, and thanks for tuning in. I will see you all in my next video. Peace.